From the St. Louis Public Radio newsroom, this is The Gateway. It's Monday, December 2nd. I'm Abby Larico. Are Republicans getting more competitive in St. Clair County, and could they eventually flip it? Last month's election results show the GOP is closer than it was in the 2010s.
Things have changed a lot, and I think, we're just kind of a little bit behind the trend, compared to our neighbors, but I think eventually we'll be in a similar boat.
St. Louis Public Radio's Will Bauer explores where Republicans have made gains in the Metro East County and where Democrats say they need to focus in future elections. That's coming up after this news on The Gateway. Metro Transit adds new routes and increased frequency to its Metrobus services in Missouri and Illinois today. The changes will restore some routes that were cut following the pandemic. St. Louis Public Radio's Auluk Aziz reports.
After years of struggling to attract and retain bus operators, Metro Transit says it hired 100 new drivers over the last year to help expand coverage. Jessica Gershman is Assistant Executive Director of Planning and System Development for Metro Transit. She says the agency has restored about 80% of pre-pandemic services.
The aim is to restore and improve as much bus service as possible, knowing that we had a lot that was reduced or suspended, unfortunately, through the sort of post-COVID years.
The changes affect 25 bus routes, including several in North St. Louis County and 6 in Illinois. You can find the new schedules and route maps at metrostlouis.org. I'm Auluk Aziz, St. Louis Public Radio.
Applications for a rental assistance program operated by the City of St. Louis will open tomorrow. The program makes $3.3 million in federal funding available for one-time payments to help cover back rent and prevent eviction. It does not provide ongoing support. The program is targeted at St. Louis residents who make less than 80% of the area's median income. That's about $83,000 for a family of 4. Applicants must be at least 18 years old, although 15-year-olds who have been legally emancipated are also eligible. The payments will only be made if a landlord is participating in the program. So far this year, the St. Louis County Health Department has logged more than 200 cases of whooping cough, a bacterial infection that affects the respiratory tract. St. Louis Public Radio's Sarah Fenton reports most of those cases are being reported by one clinic.
County health officials say 90% of the logged cases of whooping cough in the last 2 months have been reported by a pediatric clinic in West St. Louis County. But they say that doesn't mean kids there are more sick than in other parts of the county. Instead, Health Department Senior Epidemiologist Amanda Brzezowski says the facility's been ordering tests on all patients with whooping cough symptoms. Brzezowski says that means it's likely the actual prevalence of whooping cough in the region is even higher than reported.
My suspicion is that every other area in the county is also seeing similar infection rates. We just don't know that.
Because whooping cough symptoms mimic other infections, it's not always identified without testing. I'm Sarah Fenton, St. Louis Public Radio.
A priority for Missouri Governor-elect Mike Kehoe is to place the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department under state control. But Representative-elect Elizabeth Fuchs of St. Louis says she's confused over Kehoe's argument that placing the police under the board would be nonpartisan.
It's a gubernatorial appointed board, so wouldn't that be partisan if the governor is electing? And if the governor wasn't elected by the people of the city of St. Louis, then is that partisan?
Fuchs is also questioning whether race is playing a part, since there's a push in revoking local control while Tashara Jones is mayor, while there wasn't with her white predecessors. You can hear more of Fuchs' comments on the Politically Speaking podcast at stlpr.org. An appellate court has ruled former Sangamon County, Illinois Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson should be released from jail pending his trial. He's in custody on first-degree murder charges for the death of Sonia Massey. Massey is a black woman who was shot in the face by Grayson this summer after she called to report a prowler. Massey's death gained worldwide attention and placed more focus on police hiring and training. Reports have shown past employers raised concerns about Grayson's police work. The Sangamon County sheriff who hired him, Jack Campbell, resigned under pressure. Grayson has been jailed most recently in neighboring Macon County. There's no timetable for his release, but a hearing in the case was already set for this morning. The U.S. Department of Commerce is awarding more than $23 million to the state of Illinois to increase high-speed internet access. Devin Braunstein is deputy director of the Illinois Office of Broadband. She says the grant is centered not just on who has access and who doesn't, but also ensuring people are aware of the affordable broadband options already available to them.
So by tapping into this affordability component of the grant, we can invest in programs to help make broadband more affordable in places like multi-dwelling units and high-density areas.
Braunstein says the state plans to create its own grant program with the money that will funnel funds to community partners who can beef up existing digital efforts or test new ones. Missouri University of Science and Technology has the go-ahead to build a $130 million facility that will house labs, research teams, and classes focused on biological sciences. The move is part of an effort to increase its life sciences offerings to complement its well-known engineering and physical science programs. Stephen Roberts is a vice chancellor at S&T, and he says biological sciences are a growth industry.
One thing that we'll always need are solutions to challenges in human health and environmental health. That will always be the case, that will never go out of style, that will only become more and more vital.
The campus expects the moves to add 1,000 students and 50 faculty and staff positions in the next 10 years. St. Louis's downtown West neighborhood will soon see a new arts and entertainment facility owned by the Kranzberg Arts Foundation. As St. Louis Public Radio's Chad Davis reports, St. Louis County-based audio and video production company Logic Systems Holdings will lease the space.
The Kranzberg Arts Foundation is purchasing the building and received about $5 million in federal tax credits from the St. Louis Development Corporation. Logic Systems has committed to purchasing nearby land for film, television, and audio stages. Its plans come after Missouri legislators passed tax incentives for film productions. Chris Hansen is executive director of the Kranzberg Arts Foundation. He says leasing the space to Logic Systems will help stimulate film production work in Missouri.
Having some of those opportunities land in the middle of the city of St. Louis allows us to use our downtown and our beautiful city to be an amenity to those touring films or touring music productions.
The Kranzberg-owned space will also house its workforce development arm. I'm Chad Davis, St. Louis Public Radio.
Democrats used to win St. Clair County in the Metro East by double-digit margins. But in the last few elections, that margin has gotten closer, leaving some to wonder, can Republicans flip the county like most others in downstate Illinois? St. Louis Public Radio's Will Bauer reports.
In 2008, Democrats in St. Clair County won contested races on average by more than 20 percentage points. In last month's election, that margin stood at 7 points. It's figures like that make St. Clair County Republican Party Chairman Michael Butler hopeful.
Things have changed a lot, and I think, we're just kind of a little bit behind the trend, compared to our neighbors, but I think eventually we'll be in a similar boat.
What it will take to make that happen will largely come down to the battle over one voting group, the working class.
Really what's happening is the wealthy suburbs, the wealthy areas are trending Democrat, the working class areas are trending Republican, and that's going to continue.
That's Republican State Representative Kevin Schmidt of Millstadt, who's now won a state house seat that covers most of southern St. Clair County in back-to-back elections. Previously, it'd been represented by Democrats for generations. He feels his record of fiscal conservatism helped him win, supporting legislation to reduce taxes and advocating for a lower cost of living. Schmidt is one of 6 Republicans that voters in parts of St. Clair County now send to Springfield. Now, it's important to note, Republicans did not win any countywide offices on November 5th. Democrats also hold a 19-9 advantage on the St. Clair County Board. Longtime Democratic State Representative Jay Hoffman of Swansea sees the long-term trend another way. Barack Obama carried the party in 2008 and 2012 to big victories.
He was an Illinois senator. He was from Illinois, and I believe that skewed the numbers in favor of the Democrats in those presidential years.
That's not to say Hoffman isn't concerned. In his eyes, his party, especially locally, remains the party of the working class, championing issues like raising the minimum wage and creating good-paying jobs.
I believe, unfortunately, nationally, we did not carry that message.
Getting back to the issues of working-class families is a view that fellow Democrat Tom Holbrook, a former state representative and now county clerk, shares.
Anytime that the Democratic Party doesn't represent working families to the fullest, I'm concerned.
Regardless of party, something nearly every politico and elected official has noticed in local races is the nationalization of politics. In very few instances are races decided on local issues anymore. Bill Enyart, a former Democratic congressman from Belleville, believes that's the case. For example, Enyart says Trump has been an effective messenger, peeling away the working class vote from Democrats.
Unfortunately, the National Democratic Party has not found a way to combat that or to counteract that. And that bleeds down into the local races.
Now, Enyart and Hoffman believe St. Clair County has largely beat the national trends because of solid local party leadership, and they say Democrats will be able to stop margins from getting any closer. The opposite happened just north in Madison County 10 years ago. It also used to be a Democratic stronghold. Republicans now hold a 20-6 supermajority on that county board. No Democrat even ran for a countywide office this cycle. Former Republican Congressman John Shimkus of Collinsville started his political career in the 1990s. Shimkus says labor support helped him win. He noticed back then that Madison County and other southern Illinois union workers weren't always Democratic voters.
Well, they're pretty conservative, they're less government, lower taxes, have more personal freedoms and liberties. They go to church, they hunt.
Furthering support among that voting group is a theme that Butler with the county GOP wants to build on. He says Trump deserves the credit for opening the door to the working class, but that leaves the local party with a challenge.
They're Trump supporters. They're not necessarily Republicans, but I think that there's an opportunity to help them make that transition, and that's something that we've got to do if we want to continue to have success in the future.
Whether Republicans can further that transition is a question that likely won't get answered for another 2 years. In St. Clair County, I'm Will Bauer, St. Louis Public Radio.
Our Fred Ehrlich edited that piece. The Gateway is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Abby Larico, and from the St. Louis Public Radio newsroom, this has been The Gateway.